Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. I am delighted to be reunited with New Filmmakers Los Angeles Filmmaker of the Year. He came back to us after hit all his successes thus far in his career. Dinh Thai, great to have you here.
Danny, nice to see you. Thanks for having me. Always great
to
be a part of the New Filmmakers LA family. So very honored.
Absolutely. No, it's really good. So we've got our wonderful movie that he took us on twists and turns in 9 minutes, Make a Wish. And for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at the clip.
Lexi? Lexi? Lexi?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Din, I can't believe what you did to me in 9 minutes. Like I honestly, I was sweating. It was amazing.
Either you're enjoying it or you're stressed from it because you are a bully.
No, I'm definitely not. I was thinking of my school bully that bullied me at school, and I was thinking about it. Well, listen, not everyone may have seen this, so just if you can summarize a synopsis, how would you describe your film?
The non-spoiler version is that Freddie comes home to a surprise present in the form of someone that traumatized them in the past, and everything unravels from that point on.
I just, again, like, I love it. There's a lot of twists and turns in there, which I absolutely was shocked by and loved. It was such a great concept as well. Like, for someone that had someone at school that just used to just, you know, be not very nice, I was just thinking of all the people that have experienced that in the world, how
Yep.
great this film was. You know,
I mean,
yeah. So like, but where did the inspiration come for you in turning this into a film?
So the original short film was written by my dear friend Ivan Zhang, and he is a writer. He is part of the HBO Access Writing Fellowship. He's, you know, has pilots written, features written, and he's really making a name for himself right now. He wrote that many years ago, and a challenge for himself was to take on these daily one-room short scripts. So he would just crank these out. And this one was called, the original title, I believe, was called Murdering a Bully. And Ed Hong and Josephine Chang, who are the actors and producers on the short, asked me to direct it. And so when I got the script, I loved it immediately, but I wanted to just create and help create a roller coaster for it. Because it was very, you know, Ivan was taking on this one day sort of one room short writing challenge that he set for himself. And so when we had time to really revisit it, we could create this roller coaster effect inside of the story, because it's very simple. It's a very simple story. And the challenge is to engage the audience, take them on a journey, make them become one of the three characters. And we were really lucky to be able to pull that off in such a short period of time. And so, you know, it was Ivan's fault. It was his fault. But it all stemmed from things that we had gone through as people in this world, and especially in this immigrant America, you know. So there's a lot of jousting and conflict that happens in our society, in this country, and those issues cause trauma. And luckily we're storytellers, and the traumas that we go through, we get to regurgitate as story. Don't get me wrong, I would love to do what those two do to the antagonist, but we can't, because we have, you know, there are rules and laws and ethics and things and consequences that we have to face if we were to commit crime.
Absolutely. The traumas that have come from many people that have been bullied, and then, as you mentioned, about immigration too, and there's some horrible things that have happened in this country around both of those subjects. So, you know, listen, this was like a perfect situation of just what you could do to people that have traumatized you. So I'm with you on that one, Dan. But like, you know, what was so fantastic was your actors were just like, the stakes were high. And they were so brilliant, like so brilliant. The way that they played off each other was just so fantastic. Like they must have been a joy to work with. How did you work as a director? And obviously got a producing element to them as well. How was that process? Because they looked like they had a great time.
Well, thank you for vibing with that, Danny. So the three actors actually know each other. They've worked with each other before. Ed and Josephine are a real life couple, so they were able to bring that energy to it. And, you know, a little secret to casting is if you can find people that really know each other, it sort of helps.
Yeah.
And Roman, who plays the antagonist, is a mutual friend and mutual actor friend of theirs. And so the three of them have a great rapport. And in working with them, there was a lot of exploring. There was a lot of trying to find nuance and trajectory and progression with each character, because what we tried to avoid was playing one note for each character. All three of them had to go on their own journey in that 8 or 9 minutes or so. And so that was a challenge to really find and tune what that looked like, what that felt like. How do people, you know, you can reimagine the story and everyone is just sort of one note and it wouldn't be as fun. Everyone discovers something about themselves and each other.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe that, and it was just it kept unturning actually how that was the case in the film, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, you know, it's amazing. You wouldn't believe the amount of different twists and turns that you see in this film, and it just unravels so quickly. And I love that you said, as I say, they all kind of learned something about each other and themselves. Also a very good cake you had in there as well. I was wanting to have a slice of that cake. The set that you filmed in too, where was that? That was a very cool place that you filmed in.
Well, thank you. That is a friend's house. It's essentially a community house, like with, I don't know, 8 bedrooms. Yeah. And so a group of my filmmaker friends all used to live there. Some of them still live there. And wow. It's a beautiful, quirky, big and cramped house. It's an odd building. And originally I wanted to stage it in a different room, and our visual and thoughtful and insightful DP Ruben Steinberg, when we went to scout the location, he's like, yeah, I think you need to do it here because it's picturesque. There's a performance value to picking that specific room. There were probably 3 or 4 other rooms that we could have created this moment in this short in, but Ruben there, location scouting, he dialed it in for us because originally it was supposed to be somewhere else.
Yeah, it was perfect. And especially when she was running around the top, I was like, oh, this is kind of aerial. It just had a really cool effect to it as well. So for you as a director, when you're directing a movie kind of like this, where, you know, as I say, there's a lot going on in a very short period of time, like, do you kind of like, I mean, how do you work with your actors? Do you kind of like let them, is it about rehearsal? Is it kind of about raising the stakes? Like, what's your process?
Yeah, it's definitely, we had, I think, 3 or 4 rehearsal sessions, and for the most part, they were exploratory. We were just running the scene, tweaking little moments, asking questions, and trying to find a common ground where we would agree on what some of the twists and turns were emotionally for the characters. We focused a lot, Josephine and I focused a lot on her character because she was obviously, you can tell that she's the lead, even though the story isn't about her, right? The story essentially is not about her, but she is the lead. She is the person who is lighting the fuse, and she is the fuse, and she is the firework. And the explosion is Eddie and Freddie and what he does to the antagonist. And so really focusing on her performance, and she's been receiving a handful of Best Actor, Best Actress awards from,
as she deserves,
from some small festivals. So I feel like we through through those debates, those rehearsal debates, I hope that we've found some sort of reward for those, you know, conversations, for those choices, and for the performance through the recognition that she's been receiving as an actor. And so in regards to the antagonist, Roman, his instincts were on point. You know, he and I were really about mechanical notes and conversations, like when to do something, how to do something, because his instincts were just really good. And so there was less of exploring with him, although he's not as deep as the Lexi character that Josephine plays. And then with Ed, his character's name is Freddie. We try to create Freddie as a very simple Asian man who, as society, we look at a person like that and go, he can't do any harm. Because we bring that with us, you know, that's a stereotype, right? And so we try to lean in on that. And then his cathartic reveal at the end had to be melodramatic. It had to be big, because it was bigger than the action that he commits. It had to be, right?
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't, then it wouldn't be funny.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, you know, it's all sort of, what's interesting about us as filmmakers is that filmmaking requires a lot of magic and science, and you know, none of us are true magicians or scientists. We're just sort of trying to figure out if some of these thoughts that we have work. And with Ed, that beat at the end really works for his character.
Brilliant. It was a brilliant arc at the end, like so good. Just left me wanting more. It was really good. And I again, I think going back to the performances, like you had some I mean, really like amazing. I mean, everybody performed really, really well, but you know, your couple were really fantastic to watch, like excellent. I don't know, Din, I think you are a magician. I think you are. I really do. I believe it. You put some magic in there, and it's amazing. What's the reaction been for this film? This is a unique film. Like, did you get a bunch of people that have been bullied that have come up and said, "Oh my goodness, you just hit the nail on the head. This is exactly what I wanted to do." Like, how's the reaction been at festivals?
The reactions have been positive. You know, I have to admit, Ed has been the producer and the festival trailblazer for this short. And so this is my only one time representing the short in all of the festivals that we submitted to. I have been narcissistically following the reviews, and there are a handful of reviews, and you know, you know how the world works, right? If someone doesn't like something, they usually don't say much about it. Right. But the ones that do like it have really interesting things to say about the short. You know, one person, I forget all of their names, and forgive me for that, but you know, some people talk about this is a desire that they have. They wish they can do this. It's a warning for people who have bullied others. Some reviews praise Josephine's work and how likable a character of her caliber can be. And so it's all been a lot of praise and a lot of recognition for the performances.
Great. Well, listen, well deserved. It's all good stuff. Is there, I mean, are we leaving it on this, are we leaving it here? Is there room for more? Is this just a little taster for us? Like, what's the story with this project?
So there was a little bit of a back and forth with the button at the end of the short. And if you recall what the button is, it's sort of like, without spoiling it, it is, how do we explain the button without spoiling it, Danny? It is a hint of what may come.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Not as if you didn't get enough of a hint with the actual ending. And so there was a back and forth with that. And at one point, Josephine said we didn't quite need it, or maybe it was Ed that said it, we didn't quite need it. And, you know, and those conversations are always hard to have, because I truly believe that you need it, because that's some of the things that I run up against shorts, is that when they end, the world ends, the character ends.
Yeah.
And so something that we try to do when we make shorts is to show that you're only getting a slice of this entire world that continues to happen when the screen turns black. So,
Yeah.
and with that in mind, that's what we did with, you know, the other short that you guys at New Filmmakers LA graciously hosted, called Monday. That also ends on a cliffhanger. And so with Make-A-Wish, of course, I would love to explore these two characters and what they come up against. I fantasize about how unique the circumstances can be and the events can be for these two characters, you know. And so I think it would be great to see a story play out like this. And I don't know if it would be a TV format or a film or a web series, but it's everything that, it's almost like seeing two psychotic vigilantes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, then you can't leave us like that. I was very upset when it ended. I wanted more. Like and same with Monday too. I mean, you know, again, like, but I feel like it was real, which is a great thing. It's the best thing you can do in an audience, is leave them wanting more. I mean, it's the best thing you can do. But I think, you know, both those projects deserve to explore. So for the producers and the actors out there, we demand more. Okay, well, I'll bang on the table for that.
You heard it here. Danny says it.
Heard it here. But what is next for you, Din? I know obviously you're working on things at the moment, but what is next for you, or what are you wanting to next work on, or what's on the horizon for you? What you can talk about? Yes,
I'm currently in Jersey. I just flew here on a whim to direct an episode of TV for Hulu. I'm not sure if I can mention exactly what it is for, but it's for an iconic rap group in its second season of the show. So maybe that's just enough to say. Really lucky to be here. I'm in quarantine, and so I'm reading the scripts and catching up to the story and focusing on the script, on the episode that I have to direct, that I get to direct. And that's the main focus right now. I'm outlining a feature idea, so we'll see if that, you know, comes to fruition. Of course, the distraction of directing and writing, you know, directing sort of kind of gets in the way because it requires so much attention, and writing requires me to just be left alone or not be distracted or not procrastinate. So the writing's a little slow, but I'm happy for the distraction. I hope that, you know, the Monday short that you guys celebrated a couple of years back gets turned into a TV show. Those are still in development, and we'll see if the adults can finally come to an agreement. You know, the adults meaning the affairs people. And so I hope that happens soon. And I just finished co-writing a pilot for Freeform with a very experienced and wonderful showrunner, Natalie, who's I consider my mentor now. And so it's been a good year or so.
So proud of you.
Thank you, brother.
Well, listen, I mean, there's no surprise why all these opportunities come to you, and you know how much we love you, New Filmmakers, but you're also such a hard worker. You've worked hard for this, and you know, you're equally as modest at the same time, and you know how much we love you. I just want to say that again, we're so proud to see you just grow and grow, and your successes just keep coming to you as deserved as they are. I'm just so curious, people out there watching you right now, hearing all the successes that you're up to and what you're doing. Do you have any advice that you could share for filmmakers out there that you can kind of maybe share with our audience, or, you know, want to kind of follow in your footsteps?
Sure. I'd have to say that New Filmmakers LA is the best festival that, you know, I've ever been to. You guys are incredible. Larry has been wonderful. Liana, Andrew, of course you, Danny, and the support that you guys give is incredible. The things that we get to learn through your workshops, your panels, your film festivals is, you know, invaluable. And if anyone gets the joy or the luck of being able to be a part of your guys' lives, that in itself is the advice. Like, find the right festival. You know,
thank you.
Every festival is different. You're going to meet someone that you love at one festival, and they're always going to be different. I can't say that New Filmmakers LA is the best film festival for everyone. I can honestly say it has been the best one for me because of the way we have connected, right? And it could have easily been a different festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everyone connects differently, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, you guys get 20 some, two dozen filmmakers a month, and you connect with one or two of them. It's hard to stay in touch with 24 people. And so part of the advice is obviously finding and connecting with a supportive group of people at a film festival, but also putting in the effort to connect with them. Because Larry reached out to me, and then I reached out to him, and we've just stayed in touch. And Boyana and I met at Holly Shorts, and she was an attendee. And my friend met her colleague, Chelsea. And then the four of us had drinks, and Boyana ended up at New Filmmakers, and she brought Monday over, and I was introduced to Larry and then introduced to you. And you could just see that while you're doing it, none of it connects. But in hindsight, you're like, oh yeah, that's how it all came to be. And so the real, you know, the bigger picture of that advice is if you can practice kindness, compassion, friendship, those all lead to success. And of course, there's all the magic and the science and the experience that you have to bring with it. But if you're really trying to change your life a little bit, if you're really feeling like you're stuck where you are, you know, reflect back on how you've treated people and how you're going to treat people in the future. Because I know that ever since I was more conscious of being kind and compassionate and friendly and staying in touch with people, it has definitely made a big difference.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. And such valid and important advice. It really is. You know, it doesn't hurt to be kind, and you've just hit it right where it's at. And I'm so glad. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see, you know, everyone just you grow and the projects grow, and we're doing it. New Filmmakers Los Angeles, and you know, thanks for being part of our family.
Thanks for having me as the stepchild. I appreciate it.
Always. Thanks so much.